Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Just type in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. Just having some technical issues here. That's what happens when I start late. You can hear me okay. Awesome, awesome. Welcome everyone. All right, so tonight we're going to go over four secret categories that people may be needing support that are around you. So this could be in your personal life or your professional life, um, family, friends, spouse, coworkers, employees, whatever it is. So these are four categories, and then we're going to go through some different signs that are in each of the categories that can kind of give you some early warning signs that somebody actually needs support. And it can be easy to dismiss these things and avoid them and think, what's their problem, right? So it, this is going to be really, really helpful. If this is your first time joining my channel, welcome. My name is Tina. I am a happiness coach, and I help people deal with emotions that are things like depression, anxiety, frustrations, suicidal thoughts, those kind of things. And I do this by sharing my own personal experience, strength, and hope of things that have actually worked for me, that have helped me overcome these emotions and do that in a way that's actually productive, healing, allows for myself and others around me to be much happier. Jamaica, welcome, welcome. Good to see you as well, Faisal. So the first category is, and this can be really hard to detect, and oftentimes when people start behaving in this way, what it does is push other people away from them, and it causes them not to get the support that they actually need. And when you've done a lot of emotional work, you're able to recognize these signs as something that is more for a cry for support, a cry for love, than wanting to push them away. It'll cause a sense of curiosity as to, hey, what's going on with them? They don't normally behave this way. And even if they do normally behave this way, I want you to understand, look at all of these four categories as different pillars of fear that people go through, and being able to understand that fear is false evidence appearing real. Okay, so first category is anger, right? So anger can show up in a lot of different ways, and obviously, somebody being overtly angry, that can be easy to recognize, right? So somebody shouting or yelling, maybe being violent, those are very easy signs that somebody is definitely in need of support. And it may not seem like that because they seem like the aggressor, but what I want you to start looking at is when somebody is in that state, what they are actually in is a state of fear, and they are reacting. So obviously protect yourself when somebody is in that state, but I want you to start looking at it from that perspective, because that person is in pain, and the only reason that they are lashing out is because they are in fear, they're in a state of pain, therefore they actually need support. Okay? It may not be you is the person that's best to support them. Maybe they need other kinds of support, but these are things that we have to watch out for. So some more subtle signs is that kind of fly under the radar but still fall into this category would be things like sarcasm. So the word sarcasm means to tear the flesh. And so when somebody is using their words to get a dig in, get a shot in, that kind of stuff, what they're doing is they're subtly attacking and, using words to tear the flesh and irritate and be an aggressor. But it's more of a passive aggressiveness, right? So learning to start to call those kind of things out. And when I started early in my recovery, that was one of the things that when I became aware of that saying that sarcasm is to tear the flesh, I immediately stopped using sarcasm as a way of joking around, because that was something that was normal in my family growing up, that we'd kind of just be sarcastic and we'd just give these little shots, and then eventually it would kind of like one would hit below the belt, and then there would be retaliations and fights and stuff like that. But what I realized is that when you're using sarcasm, it means that you have a fear of actually speaking up about how you feel. So you have to use a more passive way to let somebody know that you're angry. And so this is one of the things that is an early warning sign that somebody actually needs support. And when I say support, what they need is they need a safe place to actually be able to communicate what it is that they're feeling. And if you've done a lot of emotional work and you are in a good spot, then you can actually provide that support to them. So sarcasm is one of the early warning signs. If you find somebody that is critical or complaining a lot and they're not actually offering solutions, and then every time you try to provide a solution, they still continue to complain, have you experienced those kind of people? Um, those people are definitely in need of support, and being able to recognize that they're in the state of fear is something that will allow you to shift the conversation to something that's actually more productive, that can help dig down to the root cause of what it is that's really going on with them. And so what they're looking for when somebody's in that constant state of complaining and bitching and moaning, and they're really not really trying to fix anything, what they need is just somebody to acknowledge them, recognize them, pour into them. They're looking to be understood. They're not looking for an actual solution. And so being a listening ear and support them in a way of recognizing the challenges that they're going through, acknowledging them, even if you don't think it's a big deal, it's important to recognize for them, they feel it's a big deal. So acknowledging, understanding, and providing that support will often diffuse that kind of behavior faster than anything, right? Um, you could also have people doing things a lot, again, more in the passive aggressive kind of side. They might have deep sighs, they're huffing and puffing, like the big bad wolf kind of thing, huffing and puffing. And my aunt used to be famous for this. Oh, you knew she was really pissed at my uncle. And usually when he got into the booze, then she would start huffing and puffing and doing stuff around the kitchen, but she would never ever speak up about what she was angry about, but she would be sarcastic. She would huff and puff and deep sighs and eye rolling and all of that kind of stuff. And I have to be careful because this was a learned behavior in growing up. So I have to recognize when I'm doing that, what's really going on with me is that I'm not feeling like I can actually express what's truly bothering me. So recognizing this as a sign that somebody actually needs support, right? And so those are things that you can do. Heated debates are often signs that people need support as well. And those are things that they'll start causing arguments over things, or they'll state things that they know are going to cause arguments just to see if it can get under somebody's skin. And you can do one of two things. You could not acknowledge that, not give that the energy, because they're looking for that energy exchange, and they're looking for that argument, right? They're not really trying to do anything that is something that actually matters to them. They're just really just trying to stir the pot kind of thing. So there'll be people that are doing stuff like that, that are asking things or stating, like my uncle used to do this just to get a reaction out of my aunt, because sometimes she'd go into this whole silent treatment, and he knew that she was upset about something, but she wouldn't actually speak up about it. So he would do things to irritate her to the point where she would blow up, and then they could actually have a conversation. Hi, Brina. I'm doing well. How are you? Ibrahim, sorry. It's hard to read the writing here. Um, West Africa. Welcome, welcome. So those are things that can be things that you can recognize that they need some support, and there's better ways to be able to call those things out, right? People being irritated, yelling, they're aggressive. Also, if you're getting short, curt, one-word answers, or somebody is being dismissive of what it is that you're actually talking about, um, then and scoffing kind of thing. Those kind of things are early warning signs of anger issues, which means that they are in fear. They need some support. Okay. I'm from Canada, by the way. And so, if you guys are first joining me, my name is Tina, happiness coach. Um, all of these live trainings are uploaded on my YouTube channel, which is Coach Tina B 125. If you can't stay for the full training, you can go to my YouTube channel, click on subscribe, and you'll be notified when I've uploaded the training, okay? So the second pillar is, and keep in mind that that first pillar, it requires quite a bit of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy to be angry, and there's only a certain amount of energy that we have. When we run out of that energy where we can't really fight for things, the next stage is we go into a flight mode. So sometimes these are, now obviously if people are running away, they're avoiding you, they're ghosting you, those kind of things, they're definitely in a state of fear. And it's important to recognize that that person is needing support, they're needing space. Giving them that space without taking that on as something personal is really important to be able to manage your own emotions and not be reactive when other people get triggered into these fight or flight kind of responses, right? Um, Now, some more subtle ways that flight can show up is somebody that's always busy, like they just don't have time. Oh, I got so many things on the go, and da 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 da. And I see this all the time in work environments, like even when there isn't a particular project on a regular day, they end up having that they're always in a rush and never able to catch up with things. How can I change my habits to be more constructive and proactive rather than procrastinate? That is a great question, Dominic. So and procrastination is probably more in pillar three, but we'll talk a little bit about this right now. Thank you for the gift, by the way. Thank you. So procrastination is usually a fear response, right? It can be fear of not sure what to do next or how to move forward, unable to ask those kind of questions, uncertainty, and sometimes it's a matter of procrastination is sometimes of, if I actually do this and I actually achieve this, the next steps of what comes up when you're successful, because it's usually not fear in fear that you're going to fail that causes you to procrastinate. That'll usually cause you to freeze up or run away, that kind of stuff. But fear of um, the success, right? So when you actually achieve that goal, then the uncertainty of what's coming after that is what will more times than not cause people to procrastinate on what it is that they're doing. So, Dominic, in what it is that you're trying to do, is there something that specific that you're procrastinating on, that you're not able to take that next step and be more productive? While you're type, wow, this was superb. Thank you. Starting a business. Yeah, and that's the thing is, right? Oh, starting a business, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And I don't know how long you've been working on that, but it can be pretty scary doing that kind of stuff, right? So, hey, Kevin from Peru, nice to meet you as well. So being aware of what kind of fears, it's like, okay, starting to address those fears of what's going on, what are you afraid? And what I find that helps the most is knowing, okay, if this goes well, what is it that I need to do next? And start planning for those next things once it actually, it's like, hey, this goes better than I even thought it was going to. It's the unknown. So when you start planning ahead for those kind of things, then it gives you a sense of security, a sense of calm and peace, because now you know what your next steps are going to be afterwards, right? Especially if you've been working on building a business and you're at that initial stage, it's not so much the fear of failure, it's more the fear of success. It's like, well, I've never done this before. I haven't gotten to this point before. What happens after this goes well, right? Because most people don't plan for success. They plan for the failures and what could go wrong. Wanted to start a business, but I'm a father. You have a wife and you work full time. Yeah, that that's definitely a challenging transition, Dominic, and it's okay that there's some uncertainty, there's some fear and stuff like that. You may want to stay tuned because this is one of the things that I'll be launching my coaching program coming up on Wednesday to help guide business owners, entrepreneurs through an 8-week program of helping them deal with the emotions around building a business, around business itself. My experience is in change management as well as trauma responses as well. So understanding those emotions, being able to do deep dives into those so that you can stay calm as you're going through these challenges, right? Yeah. And you know what, Dominic? It it's not a matter of hoping whether or not you'll be able to make it, even if it doesn't go the way you planned, even if it fails completely. It's not truly a failure unless you stop and you give up completely. If you try something, it doesn't work, and you're like, well, shit, now what the hell do I do? Learn from it, take the feedback, understand, okay, well, this could have went better here, this could have went better there, or it's like, hey, is it the product, is it the offer, is it the, did I not do the sales correctly? All of these kind of things, there's different questions that you can ask, and you can kind of go through that. But don't have it as an all or nothing, right? Knowing that building a business, if it's something that you're wanting to do, even if it doesn't work out, even if a launch flops completely, any of those kind of things, it's okay. It's a matter of, okay, so what did I learn from this? How could I do this? And it's going to be constant, ongoing, continuous improvement. And if you can take that kind of mindset, that should remove some of the fear, because now it's not like, oh, I've got to do this right. This is my one shot. And if I don't make it on this, then it's a complete failure. Trust me, I've failed enough. And all the best, they fail a lot, right? But it's not their failure that defines them. It's their ability to keep getting up, keep moving forward, keep trying. And that is what actually matters. Hey, Jeed, welcome from the Philippines. Welcome. All right, so flight. So if you have people that are around you that they're anxious, they're constantly busy, maybe they're joking all the time, they're avoiding things, they disappear, they ghost, all of those things. You'll come back on Wednesday. Okay, yeah. Check out my YouTube channel, Dominic, Coach Tina B 125 as well, because I'll be uploading the recordings there, and you can get the links to my Facebook and Instagram as well there. And the information about the program is going to be posted, and I'll be back here on Wednesday night as well, talking about the new program, what it entails, what it looks like, and how you can sign up. Okay, so those are signs that people are in that flight mode, that they're never available, that they're always on the run, they're avoiding things, they're disappearing, they're around the water cooler, joking, talking all the time, and they're never at their desk kind of thing, right? I've seen this in the office so many times, and or they book excessive meetings that don't actually need to be meetings. They could have been an email, right? So what they're doing is they're looking for security, they're looking for safety and reassurance. So giving them that kind of support will diffuse that energy of being in that flight mode, because if you don't diffuse that energy, and give people the support that they're looking for, what will end up happening is they will um, they will start to go into freeze mode, which is the third pillar of people, secret ways that people are needing support and crying out for support that you may not recognize it as a need for support. So you might find people are zoning out, they're in a state of confusion, they seem like they're in a fog a bit. Um, you ask them a question, they're not really able to answer, or the answers aren't really clear. They may stutter, they may stammer, they may have this whole deer in the headlights look, and you're like, can you say something? What's going on? So responding in that way, if their fear ends up triggering a fear reaction in you, which is the initial stage, so you'll jump in at stage one, which is the anger phase, right? You know, if you feel like you're like it irritates you, you're pissed off, any of those kind of things. Well, now you have two people in a state of fear, unable to manage their emotions. This will not go well. This will damage the relationship in some sort of way. And being able to recognize these signs and be able to manage our own emotions allows us to pull others up, because we have the understanding, we've done the inner work, and we have the insight and knowledge to be able to help somebody out of that, because we know how to help ourselves out of that. So if somebody is doing any of those kind of things, zoning out, confused, not able to answer, forgetting, distracted, unclear, stuttering, stammering, wishy-washy answers, they're in a freeze mode, that they've been in a state of fear for quite a while, probably haven't recognized stage one and stage two. So now they have no energy left, and now they're in stage three, and they're just stuck and they're not really doing anything. This also shows up as procrastination, because there's been a lot of fear that hasn't been addressed. So now it's kind of gone down. You look like Angela from The Office. I didn't really watch that show, but thanks. It's nice to know I look like a star, right? So if somebody's in that energy of procrastination, that they're not moving forward, they're kind of stuck, they've been in fear for quite a while, and they are in they need a lot of support and a lot of reassurance and confidence to kind of build them back up, get them talking, opening up about what's going on. And if you can provide that safe space to allow them to be heard and understood, then you can help mitigate that fear response and help move them through that faster. The last one is, and this happens um, in relationships. I see this a lot of times with guys where they're surprised because they thought like their girlfriend stopped or their wife stopped complaining about things. They're quiet, they're agreeable, and the guy thinks, oh, this is wonderful, this is amazing. She's not on my ass every 5 minutes and everything. No, that is a bad sign. Bad sign. That is like you've gone down to the fourth level. This is the fawn response. What'll happen in this response, and this happens at work too, in like a work environment. Think of going into a meeting. People are really agreeable in the meeting. They don't speak up. And the minute they walk out of the meeting, they're bitching to their colleague about, I can't believe they said this and I can't believe they said that. But in the meeting, they were all like, yes. Oh, no, that's a great idea. Okay, yep, okay, yeah, honest. sure, we can do that, right? And they'll tell you whatever it is that they think that you want to hear. And so people in this state, they've been in a state of fear for a very long time that it's gone unaddressed. This is often like in the case of Stockholm syndrome, where you cannot escape a situation. So therefore, you start to side with your your oppressor, right? Whoever your captor is, right? So this can happen in a relationship, family, friends. You just smile and nod just to kind of get along because it's not worth the fight and you don't have any power, you don't have any strength. So if you're low man on the totem pole at work, then you might just smile and nod and just get along, and you don't speak up, you don't talk back. You when you answer questions, you might seem unsure because you're trying to gauge and assess, how are they going to react? Is this the answer that they're wanting me to answer? And so now you come across uncertain, and you hesitate, and then the more you hesitate, the more that aggressor will snap at you, right? And causing even more fear and uncertainty within you. So you pull in, you curl up into a shell. You might have nervous laughter. You might provide answers that don't even make sense. It's like you can't connect the dots and you can't answer properly, and you like they look at you like you're stupid, right? And it's really you're in this state of intense fear and panic, but you've been in it for so long, you can't even acknowledge it to yourself. And that is the fawn response. So these are four pillars of fear, and anytime that somebody is in a state of fear, they are crying out for love, they're crying out for support, understanding. And when we have done enough of our own emotional work, then we can actually pour into that person and help them out of that stage. And if they are in that stage 4, then they need to move up to stage 3, then stage 2, then stage 1. So this whole healing process can be a little bit confusing as you're going through this, because it seems like you're getting worse, especially if you've been in that fawn stage for so long that you're just a yes man or a people pleaser, or you're too timid or you're shy or any of those kind of things, that you are always looking to other people and what they want, and you don't even know how to answer the question, what is it that you want, right? You've been in that state of fear for a very long time. You've given up, and it's really hard. So when you start to move out of that stage and you go back into stage 3, well, now you're in that freeze state. So you might be stuck, unsure of what to do. It's like, okay, well, I'm not in this whole people pleaser mode, but I don't know what to do. And you're not able to answer, and you're confused. You might zone out. You might procrastinate. You might avoid things, right? Avoiding things is actually a good thing. That's a little bit more active energy. So now if you've gone into that kind of energy, you're in stage 2. And stage 2, you're avoiding things, you're anxious, maybe you're joking, and you might ghost people, you might avoid people, you might miss deadlines, all of those kind of things. That's stage 2 fear. And then if somebody confronts you on that and you're still in the healing process, you might move into stage 1. And this is why it feels like you're maybe going backwards, because now you might actually feel angry, and that is good. That is a healthy thing. But learning how to channel that anger, because a lot of times people that have been in traumatic situations or abusive situations, whether that's a family environment, a work environment, a relationship, that you feel like you can actually speak your truth, then you might have gone all the way down to stage 4. So being in stage 1 can be really scary, because now you might be afraid, and I know I've been in this stage. It's like, I don't want to be like my abusers. I don't want to lash out. I don't want to hurt other people. So what ends up happening is if we can actually express our anger in a healthy way and be able to talk about it in a safe way, then what ends up happening is we will turn that anger in on ourselves, and anger turned inward is depression. And depression and fear are not a good thing. That'll start turning into anxious. That's why anxiety and depression, they kind of go hand in hand. And you're thinking, how does that work? One, you have no energy for anything, and the other one, your energy, you're bouncing off the walls kind of thing, right? You're anxious, twitchy, all those kind of things. But being in this stage one where you're angry, and that is actually a good sign, because it is healthy to have anger if somebody has crossed your boundaries, if somebody has threatened you in some sort of way that you're feeling like, hey, this isn't good for me. That is actually good, because now you've raised your self worth, your self esteem up to a level that you can now recognize, hey, don't treat me like that. And that is a huge step in healing, especially if you've been all the way down in stage four, where you've been in this fawn response, this people pleaser, yes man, controlled, submissive kind of role where you don't feel like you have a choice in the matter. Getting to the stage where you can actually state your truth without being abusive, and be understand that those angry feelings and understand the fear that is behind it, and being able to talk about that and receive that love and support and understanding will help you move out of that and move into a state of love, where instead of needing that love, you're now in a state, because you've been topped up, you've been provided support. Now you have your cup filled, and now you can support others. And this is a really important piece of the healing journey, and being able to provide that support and recognize each of these stages for yourself so that you can actually move through it yourself. This is part of the healing journey. This is part of understanding what it is you need to go through, and being able to learn how to support yourself even if others are not supporting yourself, because now you're aware of the stages, and now you know how to actually move through those stages. So, so hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I am going to wrap this up. I will load the replay up on my YouTube channel, which is Coach Tina B 125. And for those of you that have jumped in a little bit late here, my name is Tina. I am a happiness coach, and what I do is I help people with feelings of depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, any difficult emotions, and I help you go through a process and shift that to be in a happier state. And how I do this is from my own personal experience, from all of the healing that I've gone through, from the traumatic childhood that I went through, my suicide attempt when I was 17, and I've done a lot of work in being able to know the pathway through hell. So I'm like your tour guide, okay? Yeah, you can stay mad, but there's a certain amount of energy, and either you learn to move out of that and into a state of love, or you will end up going into that flight mode. Because think of it, it's like, okay, imagine that you're in a physical fight, boxing or you know, a UFC or whatever it is, right? If you are in a physical fight, how long are you going to be able to be in a physical fight? That is the same equivalent of being angry or staying mad about something, right? And what ends up happening is eventually you're going to be like, shit, I can't actually beat this person. I can't actually beat this foe. So now I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough strength. And now you're going to have to run away. And that's where flight kicks in. And so each one of the fear pillars ends up having an energy level attached to it. And if you aren't able to solve that in a timely manner, you will go down to the next level of fear. And after flight comes freeze, and after freeze comes fawn. And when you're in that fawn stage, you are actually in, you're being controlled, right? So that is something that you need to be aware of. So yes, you can stay angry, but it actually won't solve your problem. So if you want to solve that and move into an expansive state where you are able to, instead of wasting your energy on anger, you can actually put it to something that is much more productive, something that you can put that energy into creating and solving problems and moving forward, instead of being angry means you're on guard, you're in fear, you're ready to fight, and all of your energy and tension, you cannot be in a creative problem solving mode if you're in that fight mode. Does that make sense? Thank you, Master. I appreciate you. You're awesome. I really love your message. Gives hope. Thank you. So my YouTube channel is Coach Tina B 125, and come Wednesday, it's going to be my birthday, and I will be launching my new coaching program. It's going to be an 8-week program that is designed to help business owners deal with the emotions. And why business owners? Because I believe business owners, when you're at the top, you're running your business, there's a lot of emotions that you're going to be dealing with. There's a lot of challenges. You can't funnel that downward to your team. If you do this inner work, you get the support in somebody that is outside of your organization, that is a safe place for you to actually talk about what's going on. You don't have to take it home to your family. You don't have to take it to your employees. This is kind of the things that I will do to be able to help you through this. And even if you specifically have not experienced trauma, as your company grows, I'm sure there will be people on your team that have been through some sort of trauma or may react. Hi, Kim. Nice to meet you. Welcome. So being aware of this process and how to run through these emotions in a healthy, effective way to best support you, best support those around you, is going to create a happier environment, and people who are happier are actually much more productive, they're much more creative, they're much more willing to give all of their energy, all of their love. Think of somebody that really loves their job and they show up for work. What kind of energy do they show up with when they're happy to be at work? So you create that kind of environment. That's the kind of energy, positivity, creative. People will go above and beyond naturally if you create a happy environment for them. And you do not have to rule and guide people through a state of fear. That is an old way of behaving. It's not actually effective, and it will always require you to be micromanaging in your business, because in order to rule with fear, you must always crack the whip or drop the hammer, and that means you always have to be present. And that is going to be exhausting, because in order to crack the whip, you have to be in a state of anger. Anger is a fear state. You're going to run out of energy. You're going to slip into avoiding it and then just not addressing the issues and then letting things slide. And then you're going to blow up, and then you're going to go back and forth, and you're going to waste all this time. People are going to have hurt feelings. You're going to lose good people just because you don't understand how to properly manage these emotions, how to help your team manage these emotions. So this is what my program is going to focus on, in helping you as the business owner first. And then should you feel that you want to help your team, then eventually I'll be able to offer some support with your business and being able to bring this kind of training to your team as a change management expert. So guys, I hope that was helpful. I'm looking forward to this. I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of stuff to get done by Wednesday, but I am excited, and this will be the beta launch. So the pricing is going to be the lowest that it'll ever be. So if this is something that you feel that you may need some support with, please come back with this and check out what I have to offer and how I can help you through this process. And If this isn't a good fit for you, or you're just more, I want to do this on a personal level, I will continue to do the free trainings, so you can come on here and you can ask this. But the coaching program is going to be, instead of listening to me talk at you, I'm actually a much better listener than I am a speaker. So I can give you a whole lot more support and really understand, and you can ask those questions that you have about what's going on with you, instead of just hearing my side of things here. So guys, I hope that was helpful. I look forward to rolling out the coaching program come Wednesday. I'm really excited about this, and yeah, so have a great night, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.